Hello there, my name is Maybeman, and well, yes, I'm using my voice this time because I feel comfortable doing so right now. Um, I wanted to make this video to show my passion for VR and actually explain everything that has to do with VR to people who don't know. This video will be comprised of parts. And, well, yeah, let's begin. Part 1. What is VR? VR, better known virtual reality, is the use of computer technology to create simulated environments that a user can be immersed in. These worlds are practically limitless impossibilities, only tied down by the bounds of your own imagination. For example, you can meet a random person online from across the world and actually interact with them, maybe even make friends. VR also allows you to be characters in video games. Probably most likely a main character, but that's besides the point. That is awesome in my opinion. Now, many people would think, it's all too futuristic, man. Don't get me started. Well, but as many people already know, it is already here. Part 2. Augmented reality. Alongside VR, you also have AR, better known augmented reality. AR, unlike VR, displays things on top of the actual world. For example, you need to go to a place you have never been before. Of course you can use Google Maps, but who wants to do something so primitive? Just pick up some AR glasses and let it show you the way. Although those glasses are not actually out in the world, the company Meta, formerly known as Facebook, are developing their own AR glasses for consumers. Us. More on that later. You have probably already come across some kind of AR. Games that use the camera on your phone to change stuff in the surroundings are AR applications. Think of Snapchat filters, Pokemon Go, and Minecraft Earth, to name a few. Part 3. Why should you try out VR? Well, in my opinion, VR is one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. On top of that, it is very easy to come across a cheap VR headset that can do everything that VR has to offer at this moment in time. And when it comes to apps, there's literally something for everyone. From rhythm games to social apps. The things you can experience with VR at this moment in time is the reason why I think everyone needs to try it at least once.
Pablo.
Part 4.1. In this part I'll be talking about what a VR headset is and comfortability and hygiene of it. Now, all this talk about VR and stuff can make you interested, but what exactly do you need to get into VR? Well, the most obvious device you're going to need is a VR headset. A VR headset is basically a screen you attach to your face, and through the usage of lenses, make the image on those screens clear. This aspect can already discourage some people because of comfortability and hygiene issues, but trust me when I say that that's hardly a problem. For comfort, you have different options you can go for different headsets. Most headsets come with a stock facial interface, however this one can be a bit uncomfortable and cause allergic reactions in some individuals, so be cautious of that. Because of this reason, I recommend when buying a VR headset to also get a faceplate replacement, most preferably from a company called VR Cover, which makes faceplates made out of soft leathery material and are easy to clean. Well, enough about facial interfaces though. Let's dive a bit deeper in those displays. Part 4.2 Displays. Most displays you'll find in a VR headset are either OLED or LCD. LCD can have a higher pixel brightness and is easier and more affordable to produce than OLED. However, OLED can provide much better darkness than LCD panels, which in turn makes the experience more immersive. Currently, there has arisen a new sort of display, which presumably takes both the benefits of OLED and LCD into account. This display is called Micro OLED. Sadly, there isn't much information I could find on this, only that Apple is making it, so be ready to pay a big buck if you want that. Anyway, aside from which type of display you want, the resolution also plays a big role in immersion. The less resolution, the more pixels you'll be able to see on the screen, the lesser immersed you will be. On top of that, you also have field of view, otherwise known as FOV. This tells you how wide and high your screen is. The more FOV, the more you will be able to see at one given moment. If we, as humans, don't move our eyes, our field of view is around 210 degrees, which many companies making VR headsets are trying to achieve without losing in resolution or frame rate. Now, frame rate is the last aspect of a screen. Frame rate is just how many times a screen can refresh an image. This is mostly referred in hertz, which means how many times per second. A lot of earlier headsets settled on 60 Hz, which was fine at the time, but could make you motion sick at times. Nowadays, the norm is around 75 Hz, and companies are trying to push those boundaries to the max and even experiment with 200 Hz. In my honest opinion, you need a good balance of all these aspects for a great experience, because a lot of one thing may affect the other in a negative way. Part 4.3 Tracking Controllers. Now, the VR headset alone can't be enough for VR, but I personally think that controllers are really important. They are the tools that you use to interact with the virtual world. But if you had controllers, how would they be tracked? There are two solutions for this at this moment in time, namely inside-out tracking and base station tracking. Inside-out tracking is where the controllers are tracked via different cameras situated on the headset itself. You can find this tracking method in standalone headsets. Now, opposite to inside-out tracking, you have base station tracking. Base station tracking means that your controllers are being tracked by devices that are hung inside your room and is connected to a PC that processes the information. While base station tracking is more reliable than inside-out, it also costs more and requires you to have a PC. Part 4.4 different headsets. At this moment in time, you have a load of headsets from different companies. You have Meta, Valve, Vive, and HP to name a few. Let me first make clear what different headsets you can find in today's market. You have PC VR headsets, which give pretty good visuals compared to standalone headsets, but do need a PC to be run, and you need to use a cable. Opposite to PC VR are the standalone headsets, of course, which give good performance and don't need any PC or cables to be run. In today's market, I would recommend getting a standalone one over the PC VR ones, unless you want optimal resolution and frame rate, in which case, be my guest. Now, the cheapest VR headset you can get today has to be the Meta Quest 2, which at a measly €350 can get you a fully working standalone headset. If you want great resolution, the HP Reverb G2 might be something for you, if you have a good penny to spare for a good PC. The Valve Index, although a bit outdated, is still a really great headset that gives you a bit of all. But still the same as with the Reverb G2, you need a good PC, and with the Index you also need base stations. So keep that in mind. These are the current VR headsets I would recommend, but don't be so quick. It has been a while since a new headset launched, and you might find that a new headset would get outdated fairly quickly. Part 5. VR in the gaming space. VR as a whole is pretty gaming oriented, in the way that you can become the main protagonist in every game you play. There are a lot of different games. You have, for example, VR Chat, where a lot of people from around the world can get together and socialize in virtual environments. You also have VR rhythm games that have you do certain things on a certain beat. An example of a VR rhythm game is Beat Saber, where you have 2 different lightsabers on both hands and you have to slice blocks to a beat. It's a prime embodiment of a game which is easy to get into but hard to master. Another genre you will find in VR games is puzzle games. An example of a VR puzzle game is The Room VR, where you can take control of a detective trying to solve a case, but while solving it, strange things happen to you, and you end up in weird places where you can hunt for clues. Last but not least, we have FPS games, like Pavlov, where you assume the role of a soldier and you have to shoot your way through enemy lines. Long story short, there are a lot of different VR games that are worth checking out. Part 6. Applications of VR in the current world. VR is a growing economy, not only in the gaming space but also in businesses. There are a lot of uses for VR in the business district, ranging from virtual tools to virtual models that can be tested. Virtual tours. Today you can already see the onflow of virtual tours you can take. For example, if you are looking at different schools you could attend, you could either go there in real life or you take a virtual tour to not have to leave your house. This kind of touring was highly popularized in the corona lockdown because nobody actually could leave the house. Training application, aka ELearning. This application has endless possibilities. This can revolutionize the way we teach. Just imagine you're in a biology class and you can actually see the body parts at work in a virtual classroom. Or in history class, you can actually experience historical events. Geography is another subject that can profit from this because you can go to any place in the world while being in a classroom. Now, there are a lot of uses for e-learning besides school that are being used right now, like virtual training courses for military purposes, so the soldiers can experience the stress of battle without the risk of actually dying. Testing products and designing. VR can help in testing if certain products would actually work without having actually to make it in real life. This could cut down on the price of research because you don't actually need all the different materials for all the prototypes. This is already being used to design cars and could also be used by architects to make innovative new buildings. Part 7. What can we look forward to with VR? There are a lot of companies who are interested in VR, seeing as it is a rising market. With this comes competition, and with competition comes innovation. There is a lot of talk about different kinds of technology entering the VR industry, like the new pancake lenses that will give more clarity while using less space than the lenses used before. Companies are also developing haptics. Haptics are devices that stimulate the sense of touch and the feeling of warmth and cold. Haptics can use a lot of different methods to make you feel rain or gunshots, to name a few, but the most common method is the use of vibrations. Besides haptics, you also have force feedback gloves, which can emulate the feeling of pressure, and with such gloves you can actually pick something up in VR and actually feel like you're holding that object in real life. Long story short, there's a lot to look forward to.
Oh hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Part 8. The future of VR. In my opinion, there are two possible ways VR could go forward. Firstly, in the way you see in the film Ready Player One. In the film Ready Player One, the protagonist uses a VR headset like the ones we use today. Alongside this, he uses an omnidirectional treadmill, which is a treadmill that can be used in 360-degree situations. He also uses an advanced version of the VR haptics that I talked about, the likes of which can stimulate all the senses that have to do with touch. Something they did not show in this film, but something I think would fit into this category, are force feedback gloves. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the VR future of Sword Art Online, where people can dive into new worlds with the help of headsets that communicate with the brain via different waves. This future is fully digital. You are put in a kind of sleep when you turn on the headset, and via a kind of wave, like microwave, the headset can stimulate all the senses. I prefer this method because with this you are not restricted to your position in the real world. The anime refers to this as being full dive VR. And I can understand that because you are actually fully immersed in the virtual world. Personally, I hope that this technology will find its way to real life, because I would love to be in a virtual world instead of having to imagining it. Well, that was about everything that I wanted to talk about for VR. I hoped you enjoyed, and I'll maybe see you next time. Goodbye!